What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Reg Bookshelf. I'm Josh alongside the lovely Soul.
Hello.
Soul, we've got vampires
Mm-hmm.
and a love story in
Mm-hmm.
Mexico.
Mm-hmm. I unknowingly made Josh read a romance book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She fooled me with the vampires.
See, I thought this was a horror book because I've read one. Someone, if you know me, I don't really like horror that much, but I have read the book The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas before, and I was like, oh, this is a horror book, and it's just a horror book about a haunted house. So I just assumed this was going to be a horror book about vampires, but nope, there was a romance involved. So I made Josh read a romance book.
This book went fast.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it better than the Wolves one because at least stuff did happen. Where that one, it felt like nothing really happened. Um, but yeah, it was a romance book. It was literally like reading Ross and Rachel with vampires, just because they annoyed me so much. Of there's just the whole pittiness or
Come on, they're
pettiness.
better than Ross and
Just like the whole time, I'm just like, would you sit there just would someone just screw each other already? Like, just get it over with. Just do it. Would you please just get it done? Like watching all. Yeah, that's just how I am with when it comes to like romance stuff, is because they have to keep it going to make it, but it's for I know it's for people, and I like rom-coms, those things, but I was hoping for more vampires, and I did get vampires, but it was kind of like a love story. By the way, there's vampires in this universe. They show up from time to time.
no. Oh yeah, I agree with you. This was very fast paced. The plot moved very quickly, and it was one of those like, oh, we're going to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked for this story. Sometimes, like a fast moving plot, you're going to be like, wait, let's like sit in what's going on for a little bit, but it kind of worked for this story. I liked the way that Isabel Cañas paced this. The vampires, they're less what like they're not like the vampires from like Twilight or What We Do in the Shadows or what we typically think of vampires. These are more like the kukui.
Mm-hmm.
So they act more like monsters than they do like vampires, but they're called vampires in this story. And I liked kind of the way, and I wonder if she meant to do this, but it kind of felt like if you've ever seen Jaws, where the fact that you don't really see the shark that much, but the fear of the shark being there is
Mm-hmm.
kind of the part of the story. And that's what this book was, where like the vampires were off in the distance. You don't see a lot of vampire action until the end of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of kept that suspense.
Yeah, that was one thing I did like, is one of the best things about that I appreciate for horror films. It's not the fear of, it's the fear that it still exists and it's still there and
Mm-hmm.
it's out there. It can come at any moment. You just don't know. And one of the biggest fears is the fear of unknown. And this book did that very well at the beginning, because the whole time I'm like, yeah, okay, these kids go out at the beginning of it, and yeah, okay, that's the start of a typical horror thriller type of thing. You have that happen,
And then you get the
and
time jump.
and then you get the time jump, and you're like, oh, well, all right. Here's a love story, blah 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 blah, Taylor Swift stuff.
So those are our non-spoiler thoughts. You have any other non-spoiler thoughts?
Um, so for the vampires, to me, there's a
Mm-hmm.
movie called Priest, starring Paul Bettany and Carl Urban, and basically the vampires are a non-humanoid species. Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
queen. It's that's it's very much more of like a queen in her nest, and
Mm-hmm.
they're pale. Obviously, the sunlight, that's your typical stuff there. But they're literally they're blind. They live underground, like those type of things. So with the way he was describing, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like the vampires from, and they run on all fours like they do in this book. So that's how I pictured them, is much more like you're saying, much more like animal creature than a humanoid, politicking and all this other stuff
Yeah,
that you get in so much other movies, and fall in
it's
love with the
definitely
class.
not Blade.
Yeah, it's not Blade. You're not falling, but this book is not about living for a gajillion years and fall in love with a 17-year-old.
Definitely not.
No, this was actually a good book compared to that.
He hates Twilight.
The movies were so bad. They were so bad.
I mean, the books aren't that much better, but you know what? It was my childhood, so I will always defend it slightly.
I understand the fandom of things, and I never will judge somebody just because they like something artistically. Like any art.
No, I never said I liked it. I used to like it, but I never
Right.
said I liked it now.
Some things don't age well.
Yeah.
But the thing is Robert Pattinson, good actor.
Yeah. Kristen Stewart,
good actor. So, but they still will always be known for Kristen Stewart doing this shit for like 5 movies, and Pattinson just for like all the movies. So,
but this is not about Twilight. This is about Vampires of El Norte, and I think we're gonna go into spoilers. So if you have not read the book, I guess this is your time to leave, unless you don't care about spoilers. But leave, go read the book, come back. It's, I think, 12 hours on Spotify for the audiobook.
A little over 12.
Yeah.
And I guess before we get into that, we both listened to the audiobook, and I like the way they switched up a male and a female in this book. So you can see, like, obviously if you read it, you can tell it's from both perspectives. But I like the way, at least from, if you do experience the audiobook, obviously Dungeon Crawl Carl is known for the audiobook more than just the book itself, because it's so cool the way they do it. This one, I do tip of the cap of the fact that they were switching to a male and a female both reading. So I did enjoy that part. As far as the other experience.
Yeah, I enjoyed the audiobook a lot. They did a great job. I don't have their names in front of me, but I'll get that later. But yeah, I really enjoyed the audiobook. I did The Hacienda in audiobook, and I think if I'm going to do horror books, that I'm going to do it by audio, just because the experience of listening to it is kind of like listening to a scary story instead of like reading it. So it gives it a different feel. Right. If that makes any sense.
I was on my Spotify and I was trying to see. Jose Nateras. You still get me to read names, by the way. I just want to let you know this is what you're doing.
Nice.
If you want to hear me read more names, join us at Rev Sports Wrap It Up at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern on Wednesdays. And Krista Gonzalez. So shout out to them. They were awesome.
Shout out to them. So spoiler warning. Don't get mad at us because spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning in 3, 2, 1. Let's spoil the book.
Let's go. Okay, so we start off. I kind of have a lot of these chapters grouped up together because just like things go pretty quickly. Yeah. So so chapter 1, 2. This story starts out as a bit of a forbidden lovers going out on a nightly stroll for treasure. You have Nena, the daughter of a rancher who is of higher society, and Nestor, whose family worked on the ranch and therefore is lower in society, and he's in love with Nena. There was a story of a Spaniard who buried treasure. So they were going out looking for it one night, and Nena is attacked by a creature and looks basically dead. Nestor carries her back to her family, who the father is kind of known to be cruel, and he gets very angry with Nestor, and Nestor flees the property. Thoughts on the opening of this story?
Lady and the Tramp is what I got with the vampire. That's basically what I got is, she comes from a higher class. He's lower class, but they have a connection that you just can't deny. And the father's like, but then the father basically, now he's known for being, obviously get to the father, obviously later on in the book, AKA, he's not the best person.
Nope.
But in this situation, you can probably say, you're already like lesser than me. My daughter is harmed. Go away. So you caused this, and and so maybe this also, if the dad was already one way, it got worse because of this situation.
Yeah. So I kind of liked it. It really did give the start of, again, I don't watch a lot of horror stuff because I'm a scaredy cat, but the stuff that I do, does give that like beginning feeling of like, here's the thing, and now here's the time jump, which we're gonna put together chapter 3, 4, 5. It's 9 years later. Nestor's 22 and works from ranch to ranch as a vaquero. And one of the ranches he works at, he sleeps in the bed of the woman who inherited the ranch from her dead husband, whose bed he had visited before his death. So he's kind of sleeping around with these ladies. And he kind of gets that reputation too, which later on in the book
Rico Suave
Nena doesn't like that. Back on El Rancho, Nena is alive and she's also 22 and works as a curandero, a healer, to one day take over for Abuela, who is the main curandero on El Rancho. One of the people Nena heals in the chapter is Ignacio, who looks like he has fang marks on his wound. Abuela tells Nena that her aura is wounded and that she knows where the wound comes from and that she must find a way to heal from it or she will never be able to live her full self, and that the sick can tell, and that is why they hesitate with her. Nena just thinks that they hesitate because she's still young and she's still learning. We then learn that Ignacio's wound is the same as the wound Nena received 9 years prior. We also learn from a ranchero who arrives at the ranch to warn them that the Yankees, which I'm just going to call them the Yankees or the Yanks, it's basically the Americans. Yeah. This is the U.S. versus Mexico. But that the Yankees are trying to take their land, and the men talk about getting men to fight for them off. They also speak about el susto, which means the fright in Spanish, and that has been affecting the rancheros, men, and the Mexican army. Nena asked her father if she could help the soldiers as a curandero because they would need one due to el susto and other injuries that come from war. Don Antonio speaks in support of Nena's idea, saying, "We need all the help we can get from keeping these vampires from sucking our land dry." But Nena's father agrees on one condition, that when they return, she will marry immediately. So thoughts on finding out that Nena's still alive and kind of the U.S.-Mexican war that's brewing here.
So at this point in the book, I was like, are we just doing like, you know how Predator came out with that animated movie where there's a Predator in like different time periods? I'm like, are we doing Sinners with different, like, okay, first Sinners did, African-American situation in like the 1950s, and now we're getting like I thought that's what it was because of the overall political stuff as far as U.S. versus Mexico and during that time. And then I was like, no, that's the vampires are totally just like a non-humanoid creature, even though this war is going on. Because I was literally like, what's the translation for Sinners in Spanish? Starts with a P, I think.
I don't.
I got you on that one. Oh. Anyway, that's what I was like. The title of the book could have been this. Could have been the Spanish
Sinners.
Sinners.
Yeah. If I don't know the word in Spanish, I'll just say it with an accent.
Ryan, thank you for joining. By the way, my wife wanted sexy vampires when reading this. Didn't get sexy vampires. You got animals. It's no Harry Potter when he's referring to Twilight. Doesn't hold up like Harry Potter does. Well, I mean, Harry Potter's a better written book, and it's got much more. Played out themes and stuff, and it's also not a freaking vampire love story that doesn't.
But
yeah, that's what I was thinking at first was this kind of book would be, which I was like, all right, cool, that's really cool. Sinners is great. This is the type of book I would get, but in a different from a different cultural perspective, in a different time period. This would be really cool, and it was more of the love story stuff, and the vampires are kind of there.
I mean, you still got the war in the background.
Yeah.
It is a scene setter kind of thing.
Yeah, that was the thing, is the vampires became more and how they were used as more of the setting than a really plot driven device. It was there, but it wasn't the main focus to me.
Yeah, that was there. The war was there, but yeah, the focus was more on Nena and Nestor. Then we go to chapter 6, 7. Nestor gets a letter from Felix, Nena's brother, to return to the rancho to fight against the Yanks, and decides to go back. And and his friend Beto decides to go with him. And Beto is basically half American, half Mexican, but his father was an asshole, so he is full on Viva Mexico. We also learned that Nena was the one who taught Nestor how to read and write. Nestor and Beto arrive at El Rancho, and his abuelo hits him for leaving before giving him a warm welcome, which that's just, if you see those videos, if you watch SNL when they do the mom thing with Pedro Pascal, and he's like hitting him like, you don't come enough, I love you so much.
And Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even the one before, the Bad Bunny's in the second one, but go watch both of them. They are great. The men go to a meeting, and Nestor and Nena lock eyes, and Nestor thinks he's looking at a ghost. Nestor then walks outside and throws up, realizing that he has spent the last 9 years thinking that the girl that he's in love with was dead. That's on Nestor returning to El Rancho.
Dude. That's brutal.
Brutal.
Oh, he was like, I abandoned her, and then I just left. I just thought went on and left my life, and I could have still. Why didn't I just come back sooner and check on her and just to see how everyone was doing, like all that stuff, all those thoughts going through his head.
Why was I a coward in the first place?
Right,
left. Yeah,
and like all this stuff was just going through his head. He was just like, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. My life. He saw his life at 13 or whatever they were at the time, but he just saw everything that was his world. And then when his world crumbled, he decided to leave it instead of trying to put it back together.
And like, some might like be upset or go at him like, why'd you leave? He was a 13-year-old boy,
right? He's 13,
and the girl that he's in love with, who is the daughter of basically his boss,
right,
he thinks dead, and it's his fault because they sneak out at night to like hang out. And so he pretty much is just like, I am fucked. I am fucked royally. I need to escape. And maybe if he was an adult, he might have like stopped to think otherwise, to check on other stuff. But it's a 13-year-old boy. Yeah. So I give him grace.
Oh, no, I do too. I'm just saying what he's mentally going through at this time.
Yeah.
No, definitely. But I understand. Yeah, no. Why? Yeah, of course. Let me remind you all. There's a movie in 1994 called The Lion King. Remember when Scar goes, run, Simba, and never come back? And the son of a bitch ran.
Yeah. Because he's a boy.
He's a boy. He's a cub.
All right, and then we got chapter 8-9. Nestor asks for an audience with Nena, and Nena shuts the door in his face.
Oh, yeah. That was harsh.
Harsh. Nestor speaks with Abuela and says she was dead, and Abuela answers, it was true. So at least Abuela is always there for him and to believe him. Abuela tells what happened that night from her perspective. Quote, she looked as if she had been mauled by a beast, but that was not all. She was sickened by its venom. Nestor then lying about not seeing the creature, but tells Abuela what happened that night, how he brought Nena to the house, how her mother screamed, my daughter is dead, and how he felt it was his fault and he ran. Abuela then says Nena was poisoned that night, but she also suffered a shock to her spirit. 2 shocks, I believe. The first I healed her from that night when Doña Mercedes summoned me to La Casa Mayor. But the second is the one she had never recovered from, losing you. To you, Nena died. To her, you left. Those are 2 very different griefs. So thoughts on the conversation between Nestor and Abuela.
Man, there's just that grandma character in every book that just is so like even keel, understands what's going on, and puts
been through life.
I mean, the grandmother from Moana, and you just all those. That's immediately what I thought of. Was just
honestly, that is a perfect like description of this grandmother.
Yeah. Like that's immediately what I thought of was the grandmother. Yeah, that as soon as I saw that about the abuela, and she like after she gave the speech to Nestor, I'm like, yeah, that's the grandma from Moana. That's it. Don't change your description of that. The least that is that grandma from Moana.
Definitely.
The all wise, even killed, nurturing,
protector. Yes, everything. Yeah, that is like, you know what? I didn't think that. But now that you said that,
Mm-hmm.
perfect comp. Good job,
Yep.
Josh.
Woohoo! 3 gold stars.
Chapter 10:11. Nena is mad at Nestor and thinks, "How dare he try to talk to me after all these years?" Which I will say later on in it, like Nena started to annoy me just a little bit, But
Oh,
you know,
just a little bit. They both annoyed me.
yeah. I mean, I get why she's mad. I get it, especially at the beginning. But by the end, when like he literally says the same thing to her over and over again, of like, "I thought you were dead," and she just, we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
We then get the camp of the men who are going to fight the Yankees. Her father gave Felix the responsibility of choosing the men that would guard her, and Felix chooses Nestor to be one of those guards, which to her chagrin. Nestor tries to strike up polite conversation with Nena, but she wouldn't let him, thinking the years of absence didn't affect him at all. Nena and Nestor come across a bull's carcass on the way to the river for water, and looks like it was attacked, and Nestor whistles for other vaqueros to come to him. So on these ranchos, they kind of have this whistling system that they use, and so he whistles to basically let people know, like, "Hey, come. It's not danger, but I need you to come look at this thing." Nena and Nestor finally get into an argument, and Nena yells at him, saying, "You left me!" And he says, "I'm sorry," and that he couldn't come back. And Nestor tells Nena, "You died that night," and that he couldn't face her death. And Nena tells Nestor, "You're full of shit." They then hear a sound, and Nena feels something on her wound. And I kind of, speaking of Harry Potter, that Ryan said earlier, I was thinking immediately Harry Potter scar, that every time Voldemort was near, he could feel it.
He'd do that, and then I could just feel her being like,
"You're like,
okay, all right, we're 1-1 in comps.
Okay, there we go. So thoughts on Nena and Nestor's argument?
I've seen this argument in I don't know how much media, because it works every time, and it makes the sense of like both of you are just hard-headed, stubborn, and so in love with each other. Would you just F and get it over with? Like,
Pretty much.
as soon as this argument, you all know the argument that happens in every single romantic thing, especially when they're just high school sweethearts in the sense of character, where it's like, anyway. But
basically, when they're arguing like old married couple.
Yeah.
This
where they're talking to each other, but not listening to a single word the other one is saying. Yeah.
Definitely. Communication is low between the two of these people.
Yeah.
And Ryan goes, "At least the grandma didn't get killed off by vampires." Yes.
Yeah. And she also didn't like turn into flowers and wind and like Moana.
We have chapter 12-13. Nestor gets his gun ready, but then Casimiro and Beto show up answering Nestor's whistle. Beto tells Nena that he will get the water, and Casimiro, Nestor, and Nena walk back to camp. They hear a scream, and Nestor runs back to Beto, and he is laying on the ground wounded, and they bring him to the camp to have Nena heal him. Nena has Nestor grind up some herbs and asks for his full name to tell him to regresa, which means return in Spanish. Beto's heart was beating, but he was not stirring to consciousness. Nestor tells Nena that what happened to Beto is what happened to her 9 years ago. So again, another time, he literally says the same thing to her so many times, and that everyone said she was dead. Nena doesn't believe him and leaves, telling Casimiro that she doesn't want to see Nestor again. Beto is taken to a tent, and Nena continues to work on him, and he finally wakes up. Beto doesn't remember what happened to him. So thoughts on the attack on Beto and again, Nena refusing to believe Nestor.
The Beto stuff and the fact that Nena came back so after the bite led me to believe, okay, Beto's probably going to be the same because they wouldn't put emphasis on it, how you've seen other things of just like, boom, they're dead. Like, get the car, like all that. But the fact that, we brought Beto back to a healer. And of course, the healers are basically just like doctors. Like, they're not really like, they don't have any powers or anything.
Yeah,
As far as I
using
saw.
home remedies.
Right, using home remedies and things of that nature, which is still cool that you like the vampires, even though they're poison, which a typical vampire bite, as you know, most lores
Would
and
turn
all
someone into a vampire.
will
Yeah.
turn someone into a vampire unless they just straight up kill them. And so you're like, okay, the poison, they're going to poison kill Cuscos, all that other fun stuff. And you can realize that, obviously, but at this point in the book, I realized that it's just it's like a snake bite more than some genetic altercation, alteration that happens. So this was when I finally figured out that part in the book, because I was thinking, Nena has been out in the sunlight. She's living, at what point you thought that something would happen other than like when she was like, oh, I feel like their presence and stuff. I was like, okay. And then at this point in the book, I'm like, she would start showing more stuff than just bitching at Nestor the whole damn time.
Right. It definitely, exactly. This is a creature. This is like a snake bite or any venomous bite from like any creature that has venom. It's not your normal vampire lore in this. It is more like a kukui or like a coyote or something of that nature. Like, because like the claws, the mouth, the way it's described, that they're on all fours kind of stuff. So yeah, it's Chupacabra, yes. We have chapter 14. Nestor takes over guard duty outside the tent that has Nena and Beto. Felix walks up to him, and Nestor tells him that his mother said she was dead those 9 years ago, and Felix orders him to end the conversation. So, like, basically, Nestor's just like, I need to figure out what the fuck happened, bro. Like, and I also need everyone to know that, like, the reason why I left. And just like, again, no one's listening to it. Nestor tells him, I don't understand, angrily showing that he is kind of like he no longer works for him, and like the reason why he's there is for a favor, like he asked him to be there. It's no longer, he's not in debt to he's not an indentured servant, which basically that's what a lot of the people that worked on the ranchos at that time are basically. They're in debt so much to the people that they work for that they basically are slaves. Basically. But he's like, I'm a free man, so I'm here because you wanted me. So, like, don't talk to me like this. And Felix tells him, I think you understand me perfectly, and warns him that any man who affects Nena's reputation has more than his father to face, and that he will not allow her to be hurt again. Felix warns him to keep his distance. So, thoughts on Felix being a protective brother?
Yeah, no, this I didn't mind it, even though you've seen this type of conversation again in every type of romantic, whether it be the quirky friend or the protective brother. That's just like gives that one the bro moment that happens in every one of those type of films.
Call her my sister.
Whatever, and like, but this has a little bit more implications on it. This kind of reminded me, honestly, of the argument that Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson get in Wedding Crashers, because Owen Wilson's like, come on, come with me, just help me out here. Okay, I'll come help you out. And then he falls in love, and Felix is like, dude, I'm here. Like, what? I don't want to be here. Like,
yeah, let's go.
Come on.
Yeah. But then Vince Vaughn falls in love.
Yeah. All right, that's that. I was reaching a little bit on my comp there, but that's what that reminded me of.
I mean, great movie. Then we got chapter 15, 16, 17. The battle with the Yankees is told from the perspective of Nena, so we don't really get like the perspective of the actual battle. And I think Isabel Cañas does this on purpose because of how we find out at the end that like the vampires and the Yanks are connected to each other. So I guess she didn't want us to know that at this moment of the book. So instead of having us be in Nestor's perspective and be on the battlefield, we're in Nena's perspective where she's still at the camp. And she can hear all the sounds, she can smell all the smells, but she is not on the battlefield. And then the Yanks attack the camp along with the creatures that look like coyotes. The Yankees were about to get her when Nestor comes to her rescue. Nestor tells Nena to run, and she says, "I'm not leaving without you," and tells him to come with her. They escape, but not before seeing the creatures drinking blood. Nestor tells Nena that one of those monsters was the one that attacked her, and finally allows Nestor to say why he left. Nena wants to bring back the knowledge of the vampires back to Abuela, and they leave together for El Rancho. And then as they rode together, Nena asks Nestor how many women he slept with. And he says, 18, I think. Maybe 20. And Nena tells him to stop talking to her. Never ask that question if you don't want the answer.
When I read that, I was like, don't tell me that. You literally asked the question. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. You don't ask them what their body count is.
Yeah, no, he didn't lie. He told you the truth.
As the kids say, you don't ask people what their body count is. Come on, man.
So thoughts on the attack on the camp and that moment.
I like still the way she's subtly putting in the vampires, but the fact that the vampires, like, as soon as it showed it from her perspective, so basically, like, she had a choice in writing. Either she was going to have that battle forefront and do some really cool, because she's a good graphic writer.
Yeah,
and I'm glad she didn't do all the graphic stuff till we got to that dragon romantic shit that I don't want to. That's it. Just like, no, I don't want to get to 50 Shades of Grey. We really didn't get there.
There's no dragons in 50 Shades of Grey.
I know, I'm aware, but I just always like to drop that whole because I don't get it. I don't get it, but it's a thing.
I mean, I've never read or watched the movies, but I know that there's no dragons in it.
Right. But yeah, so it was a choice that she had, and she focused more on the Nestor and Nena relationship and made sure that was more emphasis than, by the way, vampires are killing people. And it's more on that. But yeah, really, don't ask them that question. Why do we put that? Like, it's just, you had to put it, because either she did it for comedic purposes as a writer, or she hasn't realized that question is like every other just brain rot meme video that you see.
I think she put it in because we see it all the time, and it's not even like we see it in media. We see it in real life of people asking their significant others, "Hey, how many people have you slept with?" And then their significant others telling the truth. And it happens both ways. And then them getting pissed off that they've slept with that many people. You see men getting pissed off at their girlfriends' wives when they find that. And you see girlfriends' wives getting pissed off at their boyfriends' husbands when they find out that answer. And it's just like, if you really don't want to, it's like you think you want to know, but you don't actually want to know. Unless like you're cool with it, like just don't ask the question, because if it's a high number, like I think there's a comedian where it was just like, where he was like, "Men, don't ever ask women this number because you know you're not gonna like any number." She could say 2 and you could be like, two, I guess that's how you were raised. Like
right. Or it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
Or I've seen it to where, like, I don't know what comedian or whatever, but I've seen a synopsis where, he'll answer it and then she'll go, "Really? That low? I don't think so." Like, so it doesn't matter. Either it's always going to be too high or it's going to be too low. And she's just, and at that point, they're judging you because you're just like, "Oh, you're lying." It's like, what about me says that I'm lying?
Yeah. So I think it's just better not to ask those questions. Unless like you are someone that is very confident in yourself and in your relationship, that you can be like, "Hey, how many people have you slept with?" and be able to have that conversation without getting pissed off at that person. Nena is obviously not that person.
No, she still thinks she left him. I mean, she left her.
He
left her. Sorry. I got out.
Even though he said already now 3 times what happened.
Yeah.
But again, we said he's speaking, but is she hearing him? Who knows?
It's 10 things I hate about vampires is what we're getting right now.
We have chapter 18, 19. Nestor and Nena make it to an empty house and get into an argument like an old married couple until a white man shows up, or what they think is white. Man. The man had a bleeding wound and wouldn't respond to Nestor, even when Nestor spoke in English. Nena says something's wrong and tells Nestor to run because, she's feeling it in her scar.
Right.
Nestor shoots the man at point blank range directly in the chest, and the man doesn't fall. And then a monster crawls out of the man, and they were trapped, which I don't know if you could hear that. I'm on a main road, but
family.
This was interesting, and I wish we got a little bit more into this, of like the lore of the vampires in this world, because this is the first time that we're seeing like, oh, maybe like if Abuela didn't heal Nena, would eventually like the vampire monster come out of her, because like it was very visceral and gross. Like the man's jaw kind of unhinges, and then the vampire comes up out of his body.
All right, you ready for my comp? I nailed this. I nailed this comp when I read that. When I listened to it. Men in Black, Edgar, and the cockroach coming out of Edgar's skin. That is the comp.
Gross. It is perfect comp, but so gross.
Yeah. As soon as I listened, I was like, is this a vampire in an Edgar suit? To quote Men in Black?
Nestor then continues to shoot the monster, and it does not fall. And then Nena remembers a story from Abuela. The only way to stop El Cuco is to take off its head. And she grabs a machete. And then after striking the vampire with the machete, the vampire turns to dust, which that was also an interesting note there. Nestor had a wound from the vampire claw, so he wasn't bitten, but he was... So he doesn't have the same powers that Nena has to feel the vampires when they're near.
Right.
But thoughts on the fight with this vampire?
So vampires turn to dust. That is a Blade. That happens. That's what the vampires do in Blade. Mm-hmm. When he kills them, they basically just disintegrate and turn to dust. So that was kind of very. So that again, it's still a part of some type of vampire lore. Right. But the Edgar suit situation was like, okay, because I was like, yeah, bullets aren't going to work, because we really haven't heard how they kill the vampires until
or how like the vampires are created,
right? Or how the vampires are created. We really don't get an answer on that, really. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I like your theory of maybe if you don't treat the wound, if you survive, then the poison to kill Cuscos eventually turns you into a vampire. Yeah. So that was I really enjoyed that type of lore, because that's what I was interested. That's what I'm interested in, is the lore of the vampires, and not them having just a hissy fit of the 10 things I hate about you shit.
I mean, I liked both. I wish I had a little bit more lore, but I still enjoyed the romance bit. But
the old couple saying shit and no one's listening, and just every time they're trying to one up each other just to one up each other, and this next chapter these next chapters is when I'm just like, for the love of God, just you all two screw and get it over with.
And then like you also, in the same sense, to have like kind of you have a class difference between these two people. And in her, because both are stubborn, but in her stubbornness, she's not willing to see what the life is like for someone in a lower class until like much later in the book. Yeah. So it's like he's stubborn, but he knows what his life is like, and he knows what her life is like, and she's stubborn and she just knows what her life is like.
Yeah. Obviously it's a little more, it was a little Blood over Brighthaven, that interaction, it was kind of the same thing of just, especially all those interactions too. Blood over Brighthaven's still way better book. But this is what that kind of interaction was when they got into the class system, the class things of like, her perspective is different because she just grew up different, and he grew up in another situation, and that's exactly the conversation they had, and that went over many chapters of Blood over Brighthaven.
Yeah, and then the Men in Black theme is now stuck in Ryan's head, so you're at fault for that, Josh.
Well, I don't have the little neuralizer to make you forget the song, so sorry. That is the worst dad joke I've come up with this episode.
I loved it. That was great. There we go. Chapter 2021. Nestor wants to fall asleep, and Nena tells him to sit up and look at him. And Nena takes off his shirt, and kind of like, because he's losing a lot of blood, and he's also very attracted to her. He's kind of in this like, whoa, wait a second.
You know exactly you know exactly the shot in the movie. You know exactly the lighting. You know exactly what that fireplace looks like. We've all seen it. We're just a weird skin rug away from it being that type of thing with the weird guitar and the like romantic stuff.
But he's like, the girl like is taking off my shirt.
I can see what's happening, and they don't have a clue.
And then Nestor's shoulder was dislocated, and she has to put it back in place. And she kind of distracts him. And like, I don't know if you could count this as cruel or not. That she's kind of like making it seem like she's about to make a move on him, and then like to his shoulder to put it back in place. So that I could see it in my head, and I could see like if this became a movie, exactly what that.
We know this scene.
Definitely. And then and then we also find out because like Nestor, his bag with him, Abuela put a bottle of salt in his pack, and Nena puts the salt around them in that little casita that they're staying to kind of just protect them. And then, which we learned a little earlier in the book, like there was this guy that Nestor and Beto traveled with, who they were like, oh, he's a little weird, and he would always put salt around him whenever they were traveling.
Forgot to. So can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah,
just the whole salt thing. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. So the salt thing, is in a lot of lore, especially defending off Ghost. Hocus Pocus, you've watched that, or it's been in many things where they use salt as a barrier to where some type of supernatural paranormal being cannot enter. They never really explain why, but it's been in so much literature and media,
and lore and movies and stuff. Like you kind of just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that makes so much sense for the setting we're in. You know, the whole like just old wise guy doing something weird, but yet he's wiser than you think. Those type of things. And so I enjoyed that little bit of lore. They really didn't go into detail. It was just like he did it. Okay, he's been around the block. He's been around the block. I'm just going to take the old man's word for it because he's still alive. So, and
then like later in the story, when Nestor gets handed salt by someone else, that like with a knowing look, it's kind of it's like an old wives' tale.
Yeah,
is what the salt kind of is. And Nestor, with tears in his eyes, tells Nena again that her family said she was dead, and he left because he couldn't live in a world where she didn't exist. And then we then get them on their travels and how Nena is like attracted to him, and she's kind of just like there steaming, like he's over there and he looks so hot, but I can't be with him. I don't want to be with him. But look at him, goes, and he shouldn't look at me. Why isn't he looking at me? Is he not into me? Like you get her internal monologue, and it's just like, oh my God. It's like, girl. I mean, we've all been there, but still, girl, like when you're so into someone that you're just like overthinking and your mind is running, but like that's what we were in. So as like an outside perspective, you're just like, girl, but I can't like fault her because I know I've been there. I know plenty of other women who have been there, just like talking to friends. So I get it, Nena, I get it. Then they get into another argument about what it's like to live a life in the lower class versus her life in the upper class. And Nestor walks away from her pissed off because she's just not really getting it. And she follows and grabs him saying, don't you dare walk away from me. And then as she kind of like grabs him and then kisses him. And this is their first kiss since he left 9 years ago. And it was like, it's this deep kiss, but then Nestor pulls away and tells Nena, I won't be used to prove a point, and ask her what she wants. And she just stays quiet, which not great. Nena says nothing, and he just goes, I thought not, and walks away. So thoughts on Nena and Nestor's travels. And
oh my gosh, this whole thing just aggravated me so much because they were just having, like when they're having discussion, then he makes like a sarcastic comment about her dad, and like girls got daddy issues.
Yeah.
And it just triggers her, and he like the whole time he's like, I don't know why I just did that. Oh well, I'll have to live with that. And then she would say, and then like it was like they had that moment, and then they just every movie or book or whatever, like cliched as shit. They're gonna say that one dumb thing that why would you say that? Of course you had it right there. Just bite your tongue, you dumbass. And then it starts now you got to one up each other again. Of like he left, and instead of she was just like, okay, fine. No, she's in love with the dude, so she's gonna keep going because they're stubborn, and we've all seen this freaking movie.
And like she's slowly starting to believe his story, but like when a man's crying and saying the thing, I think I'm gonna more than likely trust it.
You think you would?
You think you would? And she's starting to trust it, but the fact that she says nothing. Nothing like and especially when they're talking about like class, and like she gives a sting of like, you could never be with me, my father would never allow it, kind of thing. And then he doesn't initiate the physical contact, she does. And then when he asks her what she wants,
oh God! When he said that, I thought I put that away. That was literally a quote from the Notebook. It's like, what do you want? That's a pivotal scene in the damn. And I was like, really? You did the what do you want? The question that no woman in the history of anything that I've ever read, when that question is asked, ever answers.
Yeah, and like she didn't even say like, I don't know. She says nothing.
Yeah, most of the time you hear the I don't know, and it's true.
Yeah.
Like they don't know.
I would have accepted I don't know. But the fact that she says
nothing.
Okay. Chapter 22, 23, 24. Nestor and Nena pretend to be married to get some food with other travelers.
This was fun.
They learned that the battle they fled from was lost by the Mexicans, and that the Yankee army continued south. While they were sitting around the fire, Nestor was asked to tell a story, and he tells the story of him and Nena.
Yeah.
They spent the night camping with the other travelers, and before leaving the camp the next morning, one of the campers hands him a bag of salt with a knowing look, as I said earlier. And Nestor then shows Nena how to shoot a gun, which comes into play later in the story. And then as Nestor was about to kiss her, they hear a group of men speaking English. They then hear a scream, and they see the men there with vampires on leashes, and they mount their horses and kind of just ride off and escape. So like they had the people that they camped with kind of like gave them some supplies, but when they hear, they basically just get on their horses and run. So like supplies be damned. Then Nena asks Nestor if he thinks the Rinches, which is a pejorative term for Texas Rangers, were trying to get rid of the vampires. And then she asks if they're using the vampires to get rid of them, the Mexicans. Nena then says, what if they get sent before the armies to weaken us? Nestor tells Nena that she is his home, and that if she wants him, he would move heaven and earth to make it so, and that he had saved enough money to buy his own house. And then, quote, I swear that I will make it happen. If you will have me, I will make it happen. They have sex.
Yeah.
So they boned.
Yeah, they did it. Congrats on the sex. Congrats on the sex, guys. You did it. Yay.
It was closed door. Boo.
Yeah. As I said, no one else was in the room when it happened.
So thoughts on these 3 chapters?
My favorite part is when they're about to go in town, and Nestor was like, all right, we're going to be married. And she's like, why? No, I don't want to do that. He goes, oh, sure. Yeah. We'll just like, you hear that funny speech that they do every time. He's like, sure. You want me to tell them what actually happened? They'll believe that. Trust me. And like he lays out the whole plot of the book so far, and just how crazy their 2 lives are. He's like, yeah, that'll go everywhere. Or just bear with me here. We can say that we're married.
Yeah,
and she's like,
and gives the most generic way. This is my wife, Maria.
Yeah, yeah, and I just liked how after the whole speech, she goes, Well, when you put it that way,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess being married is not the worst of the two choices.
Yeah. And he kind of takes it like, she doesn't want to be married to me. She doesn't love me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
I didn't. But I've just seen Nestor just sitting there on the shore. She's like, oh, okay, we don't want to be married. Let's try this one.
yeah. But, and it's funny too that like they don't realize how much they care. They know how much they care for the other person, but they don't realize how much each other cares for each other. Even to the point where they do have the love making. Like, it's just like by that point, you guys should know because of the time period. It's not like the here and now where like you can have sex with a random person and that person means nothing to you. The time period here, like there is more to it, especially with her station and her reputation. Like she's not just gonna be fucking anyone, you know?
Right. Well, he's had some practice.
Yeah, he is. 18, maybe 20.
Maybe 20. I don't know. I was drunk that night. I guess I did. I woke up, she was there.
Then we got chapter 25, 26, 27. They make it to El Rancho, and Nena showed a protectiveness over Nestor when they arrived because he was still wounded, and everyone's kind of like looking like, wait, what's going on here? And it is like they literally the night before just had sex. There's a connection. People can see it. None of them whispers to Nestor to meet where they used to meet when they were children. And then Nestor tells Abuela that he's going to marry Nena when she's kind of looking over his wounds that he got from the vampire. And then they shortly meet, and Nestor tells Nena that when her father arrives the next day, he's going to ask him for her hand in marriage. Her brother shows up. So this is the next day with an infected wound, and Nena's like, I'm going to take care of you. You need to go into the house. And the father shows up behind him and like apologizes for not keeping her safe. And then her mother, which when they show up, she's just so pissed off. Like, and what gets me so much is that like, they're pissed that she's riding with him, but he saved her life. And if she was by herself, she would have died, or if she would have stayed, she would have died. So the only way to have your daughter be alive is to be with this guy, but you're worried more about the reputation of her being with a man alone than with her being alive. But anyways, that's the time period. So
yeah,
the mother...
I think it's more of the time period and the culture than it is of like, again, we're in the age
that's not even like Mexican culture. That's the time period just across the board. Like you see it a lot in like Europe and other stuff like that, where like they care more about a reputation than the lives of these women.
I'm just saying, like culturally in that elite status.
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Not Mexican culture. In a whole. I'm saying like
I get you.
The elitist culture.
Yeah. I get you. And then, so her mother complains to her father about how Nena showed up. And then Nena tries to speak to her father as he basically like goes straight to where Nestor is and just starts beating him. Yeah. And then Nena's father bans Nestor from his land. And Nena, again, doesn't say anything to protect him. So, thoughts?
She still got the daddy issue situation because it's like they just got back and she just doesn't. We've seen that. And you kind of understand. It's like that's been the person that you never talk back to, and everything he did was right, and you just didn't want. She was scared. Yeah. I mean, of all the vampires in all of Mexico, she's more scared of her father than anything else.
Right.
That's what that basically showed.
Pretty much. And it's again just she runs over there and he asks like, are you engaged to this man? She's like, what? No. Because she's scared of him. And then like but Nestor hears that and it's just like, oh, she doesn't want me. So he kind of leaves pissed off. But
but I think that's what the author, again, what's the author's name?
Isabel Cañas.
Yeah. Okay. Isabel, I think that's what she was going for, is because that's a very much more deeper situation of all the of all the scary things and all the things that can kill you and all the threats in the world that surround you, the biggest thing you fear the most is where you grew up.
Yep. Yeah.
And that is that I
And the
she
fact
did
that she can write the villain in this book is more her father than the vampires ever are.
Right. And that's where I was like, all right, Isabel, that's why you're a good writer. Because it was like right in that point, I was like, oh, she went deep on that one. As the kids say, based. I think I got that right. Youngins. I don't know, you youngins out there. I know you watch this show. Let me know if I got that right, because if I did, I just ruined it for everyone.
Chapter 28, 29, 30. The people who worked at the rancho is upset at Nena's father for banishing Nestor, and Nena starts to see kind of like what Nestor was talking about when it comes to the way her father treats the people of El Rancho. So she's kind of like standing there. It was just like, if Nestor has some animosity towards my father, like probably the rest of the people here have some animosity towards my father. And they all seem to be upset that my father banished him. This is not good for El Rancho. And she's kind of like, her eyes are opening, widening to the plights of the people that work for her family. Being the operative.
This is the time every protagonist finally, or that is hard-headed or stubborn to what's right in front of them, has that light bulb go off moment.
And you brought up Blood Over Brighthaven. That happens to the main character in that book as well.
I was thinking literally the same thing. I was like, that really, but at least that one, when the subtleties between the two, guys, go read Blood Over Brighthaven. They should make a movie out of that damn thing.
And go watch our review of it too.
Yeah, watch our review of it, because but yeah, in that one, it was a little bit more detailed. She was like, you can hear, because it was narrated by it was through her thoughts and stuff, and she was like, I know I don't want to hear this answer because he's right. So I like that part. This one was much more, like you said, not as much detail, but she really didn't.
Didn't really need it.
No.
Yeah. And Nestor rode away from El Rancho very hurt, but as he rode, he realized he couldn't leave again, and he's thinking back to the last time he left, and he's just like, I gotta go back. Nena wakes up to El Rancho being attacked, and Nena protects her family with the knowledge she got from her travels with Nestor. Nena finds out that because of her scar, and also Beto and anyone else who has been attacked by one of the vampires, that she could speak to the vampires and they would understand her. Nena also tells Beto that if he were to ever see Nestor again, to tell him that she loves him. Nena goes to fight the vampires, and she sees that Nestor came back leading other men in El Rancho to fight the vampires. And so she's like, okay, he's off doing that. I'm going to go do my plan. So Nena finds the Rinches and more vampires who are in cages with muzzles on them. Nena shoots the guy, and then, which from what she learned from Nestor teaching her how to shoot a gun earlier in the story. And she gets the keys off of him for the cages. And when she's pulling the keys off, and I love the way that the audiobook, because I'm guessing when you read it, it just says puta, but because we know it's an American, the guy reading the audiobook says puto in such an American accent that it's I'm like, oh, this is great, because he's like, oh, this is coming from a white guy. This is not coming from a from a Latino, so they're not going to say puto the way I would, or another Latino would. Nena tells the vampires to leave her home. Shout out
Jose Naterez.
Yep. Nena tells the vampires to leave her home, and then starts to remove them from their cages and their muzzles, and all but the last vampire left, and the last vampire attacks her. So that's...
Yeah, so we finally get a little bit of ability from her. So it's like, oh, I can talk to these son of bitches. But no, once we got to this scene, of course, when they had the vampires on leashes and stuff, and she had the things of, oh, maybe they're using these as weapons. Remember Jurassic World, I think it was, or I don't know which one, but they were like, what if we weaponize the raptors? Like you've heard that thing. It's just like, and everyone's trying to get a leg up on something. And instead of being a threat, what if we can train them? And as soon as this happened, I was like, I know we're at the climax. We're at the third act. We're wrapping this thing up. But as soon as that happened, I was like, I want to read that. That's intriguing. Of like, how did they figure out? I want to know that mad scientist.
I want do a prequel. How did these Americans get these basically the cucuys?
Yeah. How did you train them? Like, did Chris Pratt come out and do this motion? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. There's a lot of lore that like, I'm like, oh, this would be so cool if we actually find this out. I don't know if we ever will, but it's fun to think about.
It's fun to think about because that was the thing of like the end of it. I was like, man, she presented these vampires so just like she really didn't put much effort in the vampires, but she did just enough
it's that the shark and Jaws.
Yeah, I want to know more because we had the Edgar suit. We had that they were trained by other humans. But also at the end of the thing. You can talk to him, and that one where she just sat there, she saw it, and then she just kind of like they nodded to each other, and he walked away. Yeah, that's what happened here when we're getting into it. So it's like there better be a sequel of Nana and friends, and their friends are vampires, and
or a prequel with the Americans training the vampires.
Yeah. And all pun intended. Like that bit me, and I want to know more about that.
Did the venom infect you?
Yeah, because I was like, all right, I'm intrigued by that. But then we get the love story. We get it. We get it. That's why this one just didn't get there for me. Is because the focus was on stuff that I've seen before.
Yeah,
and the stuff that intrigued me really didn't flesh that out that I want.
Yeah, I get it. And we get chapter 31, 32, 33. Nestor saw what happened to Nina. Rinche showed up, and that's why the last vampire attacked her instead of leaving like the rest of the vampires. The vampire then bit the Rinche and then runs off. Nestor ran to Nina, and she was not moving. Nestor carried her limp body, so like the scene basically matching the beginning of the story, and takes her to Abuela. Abuela tells Nestor to call for her, and his voice brings her back. Nina wakes up saying, "You left." And Nestor says, "I'm sorry." And I was wondering if like she was waking up like you left as in the first time you left, but maybe she's meaning you left for the second time. Yeah, and it's a
play on words.
It's playing. Then Nana says no, and that she should have spoken up and tells him, "I'm so sorry," and asks Nestor to marry her. Nana's father shows up angrily, and Nana speaks up to her father and said that if Nestor has to leave, she leaves as well. Nana says, quote, "If you want this rancho to be strong, then keep us. We don't stand a chance against our enemies if we are separated. The only way to defend this rancho is together." Then she says, "I made my choice. Now make yours."
Yeah.
Thoughts.
And again, we've seen that where the protagonist finally speaks up to whoever
the villain is,
the villain is, and
or antagonist,
and because it's still he is a father, he still loves his daughter, and he doesn't want to lose her. Like he's still a father who cares for her well-being. Like he's still your like he's not a deadbeat or anything like that. Is he very, like she said earlier in the books, he's like, my father loves the rancho more than he loves me, and I'm like, and that's what it's shown throughout the book.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, if he doesn't want to lose his daughter, and so he finally was just like, to my best wishes, but you're happy, and I'd rather have a relationship with you than lose you forever.
Yeah.
And so that's where I got from that. But we've seen it before.
Yeah. And then chapter 34, the final chapter, Nana and Nestor get married. Nestor purchases land, and Nana's father gives a piece of their land to add to Nestor's land. And then Nana goes to get water and sees a vampire in the distance, and they gaze silently at each other. And then the vampire drops to all fours and leaves. Nana and Nestor's land that they got together is now their own rancho, and it's called Rancho La Flores, which means the flowers. So thoughts on the ending?
Yeah, I just pictured the vampire like standing up, and then she just kind of gives a look and just like and he's like,
No.
okay, I'm gone. You good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, cool. And then she goes back, and I mean, it's just your typical just white picket fence ending.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not mad at it, but it was just like, again, it was when I got to that, I'm like, again, you're just wanting some other like the vampire twist. Nope, vampire twist. There really isn't anything. It's just the fact that she's harnessed what she has, and that she can communicate with them now. So it shows that if there is a sequel to this book, it's going to go more into the vampire stuff that I wanted.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a sequel. This is a standalone, pretty much.
No, it's very standalone. It's very standalone. But yeah, it's just the fact that the love story stuff was so paint by numbers to me. It was still good. Like, I still enjoyed it, but the paint by numbers love story overshadows.
You haven't read a lot of romance books because a lot of them are paint by numbers. A lot.
I'm aware, and for a book, I want, because you can type more, and from other books that I've read, especially like Blood Over Brighthaven, that was a romance, but it really dove into the setting.
Yeah. I wouldn't fully put it as a romance, but yeah, I mean, I guess
it's not as this paint by number romantic, but there is that romantic connection, but it's more the class system and the magic and all the other stuff.
But for this, and I guess when I realized that this was a romance book more than it was a horror book or a historical fiction book, to me, I rate romance books different than I rate other books because a lot of them are really bad. Just to be honest, I used to think that I did not like romance books, and then I found out I'm just really picky when it comes to romance books. And so for this, if you put it as a romance book, it's a really, really good romance book.
Okay,
I'll put it at that. Like, it's top tier when it comes to like romance book category. Now, when it comes to like other book category, it's somewhere in the middle. Like, it's not the worst thing, it's not the best thing, but it's somewhere in the middle. But for a romance book, it is pretty freaking good. That's my opinion.
Is it like for romance books? Because obviously, like I don't really read them. It's not my thing. Like, I'm more into the mystery, supernatural, fantastical stuff. That's why I was more intrigued with the vampire lore than I was with the romance.
And
stuff.
I mean, like, I'm a fantasy girly as well. I wanted the lore. Yeah. I would have much rather taken some more in here.
Yeah.
But yeah. With a lot of romance books, they're very paint by numbers. They're very tropey. They're very we're gonna have a third act breakup. We're gonna, like, it's literally like, okay, here's. And it's kind of just like, oh, can it be written well? And then a lot of it is you get the spicy scenes, which these two characters have sex, but no spicy scenes. As Ryan's wife was like, he wanted some sexy vampires, no sexy vampires in this one.
You can tell. And let's just go ahead. Ryan's here. So let's go ahead and bring up Ryan, our Discord member, with us here.
Nice wine.
Yeah, nice wine. But yeah, well, I mean, this is a spicy book. This seems like she would have a glass of wine while she reads the book. Like, that's where we're at. But yeah, I brought Ryan on. Forgot my point. But Ryan, what's up?
Hi, I'm here.
What do you think of the book, Ryan?
It's fine. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think though, when we get these books that each month, you're just not gonna know what you're gonna get sometimes.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just gonna read it, and I mean, it wasn't a hard read. It was pretty quick. For I actually read the book, so it wasn't audioed. So I mean, and even reading it was pretty quick. I did enjoy the vampire type stuff more than I did, and I'm like, it's this.
Yeah.
As we got, our review is like, so by the way, it's this. Like, when she pops her shoulder back and she's healing him, like, and we just basically described the damn scene. I'm like,
yeah. I mean, I had no issue picturing it. I mean, it was definitely there. I'm like, yep, he's he's losing blood and he's shifting blood to other places. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what he's saying.
He's got that Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park, like pose going. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I get it. I know we didn't have our book club last month. I would definitely say between the two books, it would have been, if not knowing what we were going into, I really would have preferred if we flipped the books. Where if we missed and just didn't talk about this one, that would be fine. And this one, I actually had to buy it. Last month was a bit more enjoyable than I liked it. Actually, this book came with both of them, these stories. So I read both of them since I was there, and I enjoyed that world and everything involved with that one, as opposed to, I mean, it was, this one's good. I mean, vampires and that time of our country and Mexico and everything. So the setting was interesting. I mean, because how many stories you have in that place and that time is not something I normally read. So I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I think for me, and I think we've stated it here, that the vampire lore, I wanted more of that. And I really liked the setting and the fact that it was in the background where I was like, oh, bring this to the forefront. I would have loved to seen the battle too. And so it's one of those, because my main books, fantasy, sci-fi, and historical fiction. So I was just like, oh, this is historical. Let's get into it. And we know the setting, but we don't get as much about it unless you know the history behind it. So this was a romance book, basically.
Yeah. That's what disappointed me a lot, is because historical fiction is like my jam. That's why I even like playing Assassin's Creed stuff, because that historical fiction stuff is just really cool. Dan Brown is, to me, that Da Vinci Code just freaking worked. And then so was the Angels and Demons. And I haven't done the one with the Masons yet. I haven't read that one. But Dan Brown's really good with the historical fiction stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm hooked. And then Assassin's Creed kind of came out around the same time. I'm like, I think this is my genre. And then obviously vampires and werewolves and all other stuff, is the supernatural stuff I'm hooked on as well. So I'm like, oh, when I read the synopsis, like historical fiction, vampires, let's go. 10 Things I Hate About You. Okay, fine.
Yeah, that was filmed here. Sorry.
Oh, really?
So I guess going in here, what was your favorite thing in the book? And then what was your least favorite thing in the book?
Oh, finding a favorite thing.
Just do the Edgar suit. Do the Edgar suit.
It was that whole, when they're in that cabin area and everything, kind of a lot of chunk there. That could have gotten a really scary vibe depending on how it written. Especially, I mean, if you had the salt, had another layer of salt, you had they do all these different things, and it's like, ooh, yeah. I mean, are they going to break through and even
why
more?
do they ever throw the salt at the vampire?
Yeah,
I always think that.
So honestly, with the romance stuff, that was kind of comical for how cliched it was. I wish they would have just done through the salt and just had the pause of that vampire just standing there and the salt just drops and it's just like, what? Really? Yeah, exactly. Look, even though the vampires don't have eyes in this, according to the way the book.
No, I know, but they see you.
But still, the whole thing is just like, really?
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then it's not really the worst part, but it just felt weird that at the very end is when they realize she can talk to them. I mean, you think that could probably come up a lot sooner in other parts, or just somehow. I mean, I don't know, but it felt weird. It just felt like thrown in there at the last minute.
Yeah.
It felt like, I was telling Saul, I think before we went live, I said at that point, I was like, that just felt very writer's block. She was in a corner. I have to figure out some plot mechanism to where we can get out of this situation so I can get to my conclusion. And that's because you did, you at least gave the salty of, okay, she can sense the vampires, but you didn't have any hint of, Oh, I guess I can just talk to them.
Yeah.
Communication. She can sense them, but like you could have heard a subtlety of like a whisper or like this Harry Potter, the snake talking to him or something like that.
I was trying to think back. I was like, oh, was there any moments that she was saying any words when there was vampire attacks?
Was she able to speak snake or something?
Like, I think if we would have gotten like an indication of like let's say like she yells at Nestor, like run or do this, and like the vampire is like a dog when like you say something and the dog like goes what? Like
when your parents say your government name, what?
Full name.
Yeah.
And middle, yes.
Yeah, the full government name. Yeah. You messed up.
Like my bad.
Yeah.
But we don't get any indication of that, and I don't think. No. But I also think too that like every time like the vampire, it's for conveniently she's not speaking at all. She's just fighting or doing stuff.
Yeah, you don't get the foreshadowing, even as subtle as it is. Because I know we were talking. I was making the joke about how, and that's what I really like too. Is like how did they train the vampires? Like how did we get there? Like, and I was talking about the raptors. At least in Jurassic Park, when she like hacks into the whole thing to figure everything out, like and they're like, wait a minute, how did she know this? In 1 second of the movie, she goes, well, I used to do computers back in the day. Oh, okay. At least we got that. We got nothing of her being able to talk to vampires.
Yeah.
And if they've been around, like stalking her for a while, I mean, even during the time jump, it was pretty much right there at the beginning where she felt like they were watching, nothing. I mean, other than just notice that they're there or not. But it's fine. I mean, I did read at the back after the book was a part of the book was just her part of the author talking about how that she rewrote so much of this from the first draft that it was not what even close to what her original story was. And so I was like, I guess I don't know what made her, or if it was it was definitely not the main story. So I'm just wondering if that played a part in things where it just had to make those changes.
And yet this was because in her first book that she wrote, which I read the Hacienda, and there is like a romance, but the romance is kind of like in the background. The foreground is the haunted house and the scary stuff. So like I assumed that would be the case in this book as well, and she reversed that. So I would say if you do like her writing style in this book, that the Haciendas probably would be a better fit. And then she had a book that came out this year that apparently is supposed to be even scarier. And I'm contemplating on whether I want to read it or not. And I'm like, I've already read 2 of the 3 books, so I was like, maybe I might as well read the third. And that one's called The Possession of Alba Diaz. So she's had a haunted house, she had vampire, and now she has possession.
And they just then you could just Avenger it all one to get like a 4th book, and it was vampires in their haunted house, and so
that's how the U.S. trained the vampires. Possession.
Jimmy Buffett out there with a law shaker of salt, apparently. R.I.P. That came right from the back of my brain to make that bad joke, by the way.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I liked it, though. I liked it. But any other thoughts that you have on this book? Look, it was a quick read. There's not really much to talk about with this book, but any other thoughts that you have?
No, I already picked up next month's. So
nice.
I got that. What else? And book 7.
Nice.
Yeah.
These are
that's a thick boy.
Oh, they're all like this. This is like 800 pages.
He is getting to Tolkien level.
Oh, this is I'm signed up to a book signing for him in a few months, so we're gonna get that signed.
Nice.
He lives out this way. I found out.
I'm gonna cover up the thing, but I just realized he had this book. I got it from shout out to my grandmother, but she was like, "Yeah, you can borrow it." But Mitch Abaum's new book, so album. Sorry, I always mispronounce his name, but. He's a really great writer. I know Tuesdays with Maury. The fact that I didn't know that till we started this damn thing, I'm kind of disappointed myself that I didn't know about that. And I was like, as I'm like halfway through the book, I'm like, oh, let me look up Mitch. And as soon as I see his face, it's like, oh, the sports reporters guy.
Yeah. And then right now I'm currently reading The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, which I think has been optioned for a movie. I'm liking a lot so far. So
that's what I'm reading. This is what I'm reading right now.
Have you? Nice. So I guess you're gonna read it and then go watch the movie.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
So never. I was gonna make an Abercrombie and Fitch joke saying, well, "What's Fitch writing?" But nope. Gonna refrain from doing that. I'm up to 7 dad jokes. But at least I'm at least got 2 good movie of my references today. I've nailed 2 of them. All right, Moana, the grandmother from Moana, and Edgar suit. I think,
and I got the Harry Potter scar.
Yeah, the Harry Potter scar was.
Oh yeah,
yes. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. Now it's not a Horcrux, but
yeah,
I know she got bitten. Now she had to kill herself to get rid of it.
It is kind of weird how you can kind of make the situation there, because the snake talks to her and like, you know, the bite. I'm like, okay, it is very Harry Potter-esque.
I mean, communicating there at the end.
Yeah, and communicating there at the end with the snake and everything. So yeah.
Oh, that would have been so cool. Yeah, when you said whispers, like if if she was sleeping, if she was hearing whispers of like voices, like something.
Just give us something. I don't care about another run-of-the-mill scene.
I know. But hey, everyone needs a little love in their life, right?
Yeah. But he loved me. He loved me.
Oh, did you like how they were so stubborn and knuckleheaded, and they never said? And as soon as they were right there about to kiss, they said the wrong thing that we've seen 1,000 times.
I know. So I'm gone for 9 years. I'm making sure not to pay attention at all what's going on back there, because I don't want to know. I would have found, if I would have just listened to other people talking about what's going on, she would have found it. Oh yeah, this person's probably alive. But no, I'm avoiding all news because I'm just
all news.
And the other thing too, his family. He's still writing letters with his family, and his family never says anything. So like,
because that would break his heart too much or something, or whatever their reasoning.
Yeah, I bought it with Lion King, but like Zazu can fly. That son of a bitch could have searched for his ass.
But yeah, in this one, like when
just now realized that, by the way, I just now realized that
when I saw that he was getting letters from his family, I was like, wait a second, like if it was like he left and had 0 contact with anyone back at home, that would be different. But he was getting letters from his family, and his family said nothing to him. So they're just as much his fault.
9 years probably could have just mentioned something somehow.
Especially to like, they missed him. Like, hey, she's alive. You should come back.
They were so tight, and like, why'd you leave? Yeah, I mean, they could have done it. Yeah, but
at least could have showed a scene of the dad threatening them to don't tell your son.
This book is communication. Maybe we should try that.
Yeah. Well, it's a plot device. You gotta,
there's a lot of plot devices, and there's a lot of cliches. The vampire stuff was very intriguing. We just didn't get enough of it, and that's just kind of how it is.
I mean, it's not like people can't make bigger books and put more words in books. Add more to it.
And you can, when you said that she wrote this a couple of times, after you said, I was like, yeah, I can see that. Based on what Sol was saying about her previous novel, I can see that with this one.
Well, yeah. But like I said, for a romance book, if you put it in, as I rate it differently than other books, this is like a 5-star romance. Now, if I were to rate it with everything else, I'd probably give it like 3 stars.
Right.
But
you're almost better off not having the vampire stuff than if you wanted to do that type of a story, just add more to the war and more to escaping.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be vampires they were escaping. They could have, I mean, again, it was a lot of, the United States kind of doing some stuff. Might as well just them trying to escape them or something along those lines. I mean, they could have figured something out.
Yeah.
But, it's fine. It's Reddit.
I give her. She at least tried to do something different with the vampire thing, because, like you said, at least she did. But she just didn't go into the detail that all 3 of us are just really wanting, because we know she has it to give us.
Because like when she got bit at first, I was wondering, I was like, oh, is this going to be like a she turns into a vampire and then it's like, hey, like I'm in love with a vampire, not Twilight-esque, but not Twilight-esque, you know?
I was intrigued, but I also was like, please, God, don't do this.
It's a reverse vampire. Yeah. Where she, well, it's the girl. It's the vampire this time. Yeah. And,
although Stephanie Meyer did that, she did a I think she called it Life and Death. I have not read it at all, and I'm not going to. But she did it where basically she flipped it where the girl's the vampire and the boy is Bella. And it's the same exact, it's literally the same exact story, but gender bent. And I'm like, and people bought it and paid money for it. And it's the same author just writing the same story, gender bent.
I mean, have you seen television and movies? They still make money off those things.
Yeah, but like usually it's someone else doing it. She
right. No, yeah, okay, good point there. Is like you literally have this big hit. What are we gonna do? Reverse it. No.
She could have just wrote it and called herself Betty Lane, and nobody would have known it was her or something.
Might as well just put like the Uno card reverse and just call it reverse. Like that's all you had.
Uno card reverse.
Yeah. Reverse.
So she basically wrote the first book 3 times because she had the original, she has the gender bent, and then she has it from Edward's perspective, or at least like from Edward's perspective, because he can also read minds. Like the book is hilarious in his head because he's so like, you're like, oh, this is a mentally ill person. And so you're just basically reading a book from someone who's just mentally not okay.
So what Stephanie Meyer is doing is basically the Seth Rogen dice throw from Knocked Up, because he kept doing it over and over and over again. But you know what? It worked for him.
Well, anyways, as always, thank you, Ryan, for being the only one that shows up here. Drinking Prayer, he does read the books. He's just in Scotland, so he's asleep right now.
And Ryan, if you don't watch our bracket bitches, Drunken Prayer over in Scotland won our bracket for the WNBA, and he got perfect. And all he did was roll a d20 the whole time. But he got a perfect bracket out of it. So,
damn. All right. Well, good for him. Yeah. Well, nice in Scotland. Let him enjoy his time over there.
And we're not going to talk about fantasy football. I'm going to do it.
Hey, I'm improving it.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And speaking about that, if you want to check in on Ryan's team, we do go over it. And as far as Ryan joins us in the comments as well. We got to get you on the show as well. But yeah, we do Fantasy F Round at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern to go over not just our what'd you say?
I said on Mondays.
On Mondays, thank you. And I would love to have, obviously, Discord down below. We have our Fantasy League with our Discord. Ryan is a part of it. Me and Sol are a team with the Sofa Hill Toppers. I'm not going to tell you about our team right now, Sol, but we're competing. And Ryan is doing very well right now. He's definitely putting in the waiver wire work. I will say that.
It would be funny if I do win the whole thing in my first year.
Okay. And you wouldn't be the first.
It's called positive reinforcement. We're like that casino. We'll comp you, and then you just keep coming back and lose.
Yeah, that first year, and then 15 years in, I'll get it someday.
Yeah, this is what it's like being a Dallas Cowboy fan. When I was growing up,
Toronto Blue Jays fan,
or Toronto Blue Jays.
Poor Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, for them.
32
2 outs
years.
away. 2 outs away. Yeah, I mean,
but your Seahawks are doing very well.
Yeah, if we're sticking baseball though, I'm up here for the Mariners though, and it was rough.
They've never made it to a World Series.
I was rooting for you guys, man.
It was so close. It was rough
next
up
year.
here.
Maybe next year.
But at the same time, though, I mean, I felt bad for a while. But the next thing you know, though, Toronto losing it by 2 outs. It's like, well, at least it wasn't that.
Yeah.
And didn't the Blue Jays manager step down already?
Not the manager, but Don Mattingly has left, so I was like, "Oh, the Blue Jays are going to win," because he is allergic to winning a World Series or even getting to the World Series. He's been a Yankee. He's coached the Marlins. He's coached the Yankees, but each time he's on a team, he's never made it to the World Series. And this was his first World Series after working in the MLB for over 40 years. And now he's left the team. So I was like, oh, the Blue Jays can win now because he's cursed.
Yeah, it's like when Bryce Harper left the Nationals, and like I think like the next year they won it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, now we're just on to obviously different sports. I know. I got MLS tomorrow.
Yeah.
I need. Sounders.
Can the Sounders win Game 3 so that everyone's brackets can be okay?
Yeah. Everyone pick the Sounders to win.
Oh, well, I hope so. That's the plan. 1:00 my time. So.
Yeah, I have like two of the teams that I don't follow it much. I'm a casual can get, but like the whole joke of our bracket bitches, or at least when it comes to MLS, like I'm a Red Bulls fan because of Thierry Henry, who played on the team like 20 years ago, and then I really like the Seattle Sounders because of Clinton Dempsey. And so that's why I was like, and like and ever since then, that culture of like how Clinton Dempsey plays a game is exactly how Seattle has played the game since Clinton Dempsey's been there. And that's why I was liking because they're that scrappy team. And if they get it, like I said, if they get in the playoffs, they typically win the first round just for how scrappy they play.
Yeah. I mean, and they, find out tomorrow, Game 3.
We'll find out tomorrow for your team, and we'll find out tomorrow for Inter Miami. So we need both our teams to win.
Yeah, you guys pull it through, okay? Because Red Bulls aren't in it, so you all just figure it out because I have both of your teams advancing.
Yeah, me too.
Me as well. Anyways, thank you, Ryan, as always, for being our only one. We need to. I know you guys are reading the books. We got a lot of people in the Discord, and I know that they're reading. They talk about books, but come up, show your beautiful faces. We want to see it. But Ryan shows his.
I know. I'm trying to. I'm going to an in-person book club in a few weeks and I don't have to read the book because I already did because it was the first book at Dungeon
Crawl.
Nice.
I'm like, I already read it. So I'll show up.
That doesn't surprise me though. That book is taking over.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I think it's going to be an animated show, so that's going to be fun. And we'll definitely have to like watch it and maybe bring you on to like talk about it.
That's why I wonder if can you stream it or like actually like watch it at the same time?
I wonder how long it's going to take the casual people like who's never heard of Dungeon Crawler Carl be like, what's this Rick and Morty ripoff? Like they're gonna immediately make that reference.
Yeah.
Teach their own. Okay.
Yeah. It's amazing.
But thank you, Ryan, as always, and you have a good rest of your night.
Okay. Good night.
See you, man. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
All right, Josh, where can the people find us?
Well, like I alluded to, we have our Fantasy F Around on Mondays, 9:00 Central, 10:00 Eastern. Me and Tishka break down the world of fantasy football. My world's it's crumbling, but I have fun doing it. But that doesn't mean just do as I say, not as I do. Okay. No, it's just bad luck on my injury stuff that happened. Yeah, I'm not salty about it at all. It's just another year down the drain. It's fine. It's whatever. Yeah, whatever. But they can also find us two on Sunday for bracket pitches, breaking down the NWSL. Yep, I'm getting there. NWSL and go. This is all about heart for my bracket because Racing Lou is in it and go win it. Beverly, get the girls right and shock the world. That's all I'm saying on that. And then on Wednesday, we have our Ref Sports Wrap It Up. We'll be talking about the MLS, NWSL. Baseball is over, but we still might bring it up just because that World Series is so good. And then obviously football and hockey. We got that stuff going on as well. And then all the miscellaneous stuff that's going on if we are able to watch it. Right now, I'm not ready to watch shit because of that whole YouTube TV ABC stuff. But I'm not going to get into it on a book club.
If you want to see his rant, go watch Wednesday's episode.
I put up as a short with me being open mouth the other direction. Because that was great work.
Anyways, thank you, Josh, as always. Thank you, Ryan, as always. Thank you to those watching. We enjoyed the three of you that are still on right now watching us. Thank you. Thank you to our Discord members that are reading the books with us.
Voting
Discord
with us.
link down below. It's file free. And we have we're going to be voting for December's book soon. We're going to vote in January. But I put down a plan for next year, and some of the months I'm going to be a booktator again. I liked the power, and so I have the decision power for some of the months, and I'm like, I'm gonna make those decisions. Okay. But I still let you guys vote every once in a while, and I'm still benevolent.
Hey, you run the channel, so I'm just like, all right, whatever.
But again, thank you, Josh. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See you.
Bye.